Hello, I'm Brandon. This is Gordon. You're watching BJG Reptiles, and today I'm going to be telling you 5 things you didn't know about snakes. Number 1. Snakes actually don't unhinge their jaw. Now, this is a common misconception within the hobby. They believe that all snakes unhinge their jaw. Now, in reality, they actually have 2 bones on their lower jaw that are connected to stretchy ligaments, which enable the mouth to open wide sideways and obviously long ways. This allows them to eat much bigger prey than you'd expect. And yeah, it's just a common misconception within the industry. Now, number 2 is actually a longer one. It is that snakes actually have 4 common ways, or 4 main ways of movement. So, number 1 is actually serpentine. So this is the one you commonly see. So as you can see here, his body is moving sideways. Now, this means that the body moves in an S shape. It's the common one that everyone sees. There is actually another one that is very, very similar, which is called sidewinding. Instead of the head facing straight on, the head actually moves sideways diagonally, and the body follows. They are both very similar. They're in an S shape, but serpentine is straight on. Sidewinding is when the body goes sideways as well. There's also something called caterpillar. This is a different type of movement where basically the body goes up and down like that rather than side to side. This is usually used when the body can't grip and can't serpentine. And there's also, now let me just look at this, this is concertina, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Now this is where the head goes first, and then the body scrunches up to the head, and then the head goes on. This is seen, if you've ever watched Jungle Book, Khan does this. It's very, very interesting. It's also used when they're climbing trees. If you notice, the head goes up, the body follows, and then the head goes up. So it's not the most common way of moving, but it is still a relatively common way, and it is one of the main methods of movement. Now, number 3 is a little bit grim, so if you're a child, don't listen to this bit, skip to number 4. Male snakes actually have what's called hemipenes. Now, they have 2 sexual organs called hemipenes. I just put this one in here because it's weird. Most animals only have 1 sexual organ. Male snakes, like Gordon here, have 2. Now, point number 4 is that not all snakes lay eggs. So, Gordon here, the female version of a Western hognose, will lay eggs. But something like a Brazilian rainbow boa or a BCI or a BCC will have live birth. Now, 20 to 30% of all snakes actually have live birth. They're called live bearers. And that is a large population of snakes that do not lay eggs. Now, there are also some snakes that lay eggs, but further on within the process, so it'll only take a couple of days or a couple of weeks for the snakes to hatch. I believe that is a type of boa. I can't remember exactly what that's called, but 60 to 70% or 70 to 80% of all animals, all snakes, lay eggs, such as the Western hognose, the royal python, the corn snake, and many king snakes, just to name a few. Now, number 5 is that even though everyone says, and everyone has got it drilled in their head, that snakes are venomous, not poisonous, there are actually some poisonous snakes. Now, technically, I'm holding a venomous snake here. He's rear fang venomous. It's very, very mild. But there is research to suggest that Western hognose snakes are actually poisonous as well. Now, this is obviously light research. It's not done in detail. But the reason that I believe this is because Western hognose snakes have a defense mechanism where they play dead. Now, it makes no sense for them to play dead because they have the what's called hooding up mechanism. They hiss, they bluff strike. They've got many, many different ways of defending themselves. So why would they play dead after they've done all of these? Because when they play dead, it's the last resort. If the predator has actually seen them alive 2 seconds ago. Now, what I believe is that there's a smell that comes off, which there is, and it's not actually playing dead, it's showing the animal that they're toxic or poisonous. Now, the reason snakes are poisonous is because of their diet. It's the same as dart frogs. So, Western hognose snakes here eat toads and stuff like salamanders and newts in the wild, which are toxic, or the majority of them are toxic. Another great example of a snake that is poisonous, and this one has been proven to be true, is a garter snake. So this goes for, like, I think there's 26 species of garter snakes off the top of my head. There might be more, might be less. I think when I had a quick little bit of a look, there's 26 plus, it says. Now, they are actually poisonous. This is again because of diet, so they eat toads and salamanders in the wild. These toads and salamanders have toxins which the body absorbs and actually keeps on them, and it excretes through the skin, making them poisonous. That is number 5. Now we are going to quickly go over to number 1. I obviously mentioned that they have these mandibles in the jaw. Now the reason I mentioned this one is just simply because when you hear from someone that isn't an expert, they say that snakes unhinge their jaw. Now this wouldn't make sense because they'd have to dislocate their jaw. So what actually happens is there's ligaments that connect to 2 different bones, and these ligaments pull the jaw outwards like this, which means that it opens sideways and long ways, which allows prey that is bigger than the actual snake to be eaten. That's one of the more interesting ones. The other thing I wanted to mention is, obviously I mentioned male snakes have 2 sexual organs. Now, the interesting thing about female snakes is that more often than not, so royal pythons are a prime example of this, they actually can give 2 clutches per year. So I thought I'd mention this. As humans, for instance, every 9 months you can have a baby. Snakes, it tends to be less than that. Sometimes it can be a lot less than that, sometimes it can only be a little bit less than that. I'm not sure exactly what the hognose snakes are, so I can't give you that details. But I just thought I'd mention that as well. So yeah, that's my top 5 things that you probably didn't know about snakes. If you haven't liked or subscribed already, please do so. If you haven't enjoyed the video, for whatever reason, please comment below what I can do to improve next time, and I will work on it. But that is all for this video. Thank you for watching if you've got this far, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye.